Hello students, I am Dr. Sanjukta Mallick and today I am here to explain you one of the most comprehensive theories on motivation which was given by Abraham Maslow, and it is known as Maslow's need hierarchy theory. In this theory, I will not only cover the basic 5 needs, but I will also cover the other 3 needs that has been given by Maslow in the latter years. So, before getting into Maslow's need hierarchy theory, let me briefly explain you what actually motivation means. So, for that, let me tell you that this particular term motivation has came from a Latin word called mover, which means to move. So now you people may have a question in your mind that how this particular term motivation, which in Latin means to move, can be related to the concept. So motivation can be considered as a process through which an individual tries to move to carry out certain action so that they can achieve the ultimate goal or objective. So it means what? It means that through motivation, an individual gets a drive to achieve something which he or she is longing for a long period of time. So over here you can see that there are 3 definitions which I have considered. The first being given by Luthans, the second by Maslow, and the third one by G.R. Terry. And in all these 3 motivational definitions, it has been seen that all these 3 authors has tried to explain that motivation is a process through which an individual is instigated or stimulated to take an action so that they can achieve their ultimate goals. Now, next we come to the 2 broad type of motivation. The first being the intrinsic motivation, and the next type of motivation that I'll be discussing is the extrinsic motivation. Now, what is intrinsic motivation? So, intrinsic motivation is something through which an individual develop a desire, or it can be considered as an innate desire of an individual to do something that would ultimately help them to achieve the goal. For example, over here I have stated that learning a new language can be considered as an intrinsic motivation. Again, volunteering can also be considered as an intrinsic motivation. Other than that, practicing a hobby of yours can also be considered as an intrinsic motivation. Suppose an individual loves dancing. So when that individual dance, so there is an inner satisfaction which an individual is having within him or her, that is motivating him. So that self-satisfaction is motivating that individual to carry out that particular activity. So this can be considered as an intrinsic motivation. Now, the next thing that I'll be discussing is extrinsic motivation. So what is extrinsic motivation? From the term extrinsic, we can understand that it is something where someone from outside is motivating an individual to do certain things. So See over here in this slide, I have given example that working extra hour can be considered as an extrinsic motivation. Again, exercising is also an example of extrinsic motivation. So what does that mean? Suppose you are working for a long period of time, or it can be considered that you are working for certain extra hours, and when you have worked for that extra hours, you will be provided some sort of incentives, which can be a financial incentive, like you have worked extra 5 hours, so for that you will be getting 500 rupees per hour. So that leads to rupees 2500 for 5 extra hours that you have worked, which you will be getting. So that can be considered as an example of extrinsic motivation. So I have explained, like in a very brief manner, I have tried to explain what is motivation and what are the two types of motivation. So you have got a basic idea of what is it all about. So now I will be moving into the particular theory which I was talking about initially. So this particular theory, as you can see here, which is known as Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Maslow's need hierarchy theory, has been given by an American psychologist known as Abraham Maslow. So this particular theory has been given by Maslow in the year 1943 in a paper called A Theory of Motivation. So in this paper, what he mainly tried to predict how the innate human needs are satisfied, and this innate human needs are arranged in an hierarchical order from the bottom to the top. So the lowest order need that need to be satisfied is the physiological need, as you can see in this picture. So these are the 5 needs that has been given by Abraham Maslow in his paper A Theory of Motivation in the year 1943. In later years, say during 1970, he added 3 more needs that I'll be again discussing in the next slide. So before getting into the next slide, let me explain what are these 5 needs are all about. As you can see in this picture, there are 5 needs that has been shown. Now this needs are arranged from bottom to the top. What does that mean? It means that until an individual meets the first basic need, which is the physiological need, he or she will not move to the safety need. Again, once the safety need is satisfied, he will move to the love and belongingness need. Again, after the satisfaction of love and belongingness need, the individual will move to the esteem need, and lastly the person will move to the highest order need in this, according to this picture, which is the self-actualization need. So now let me explain what are these needs. So the first need that I will say is physiological need. Now what is physiological need? This is a basic need which an individual need to sustain himself or herself in this world. So what is that basic need? It can be the need for food, which is considered as a basic need for the existence of an individual. So until and unless my hunger is getting satisfied, I will not be able to sustain in this world. The next example of physiological need can be the requirement of shelter. Over here, it means that we obviously need a place to live in, so that we can get protected from the heat, we can get protected from the cold, the rain, the winds. So it is the basic need of an individual to have a house, to have a shelter where they will feel safe, where they know that I can leave, I have a place to go. So that is what is the physiological need is all about. So until and unless this physiological need is met, we cannot move to the next need, which is the safety need. Now you will be asking, what is the safety need is? So safety need basically means a need where an individual is longing for a security. So what can be an example of safety need? A very good example of safety need is, suppose when an employee is joining an organization. So what that employee want? The employee want the assurance of the employer about the security of the job. The employer want to check what are the benefits the employers are providing, so that the employee can remain associated with the organization for a long period of time. So that can be considered as an example of safety need. The next need that I'll be talking about is love and belongingness need. So this particular need is all about how an individual is having or is showing his behavior towards other, because we know that we human being has got an innate desire to bond with other people. So this desire to create friends, to have a good bonding with family members, then to come across people, to come across like-minded people, can be considered as an example of love and belongingness need. The next need. So over here we can see, once the physiological need is getting satisfied, we are moving to a higher order need, which is the safety need. And again, when my safety need is getting satisfied, I am moving to another higher need, which is known as love and belongingness need. The next need that I'll be talking about is the esteem need. Now, this esteem need can be divided into two. One is the external esteem need and one is the internal esteem need. Now, what is internal esteem need? Internal esteem need mainly refer to what extent an individual has got an expertise, or to what extent an individual is skilled in carrying out a specific objective or in carrying out a specific activity. So it means that the confidence of a person, it refers to the capability of an individual. It refers to the expertization of an individual. So the more a person is confident, the more the person has got greater inner self-esteem need. The next need that I'll be talking about is the external esteem need. So what is external esteem need? It means that we people live in a society. We people are social animals. So we want a recognition of ours within the society. So to what extent the people who are interacting with me or the people of my society is accepting me, is recognizing me, is external esteem need. So again, first the physiological need is getting satisfied, then the safety need is getting satisfied, then the love and belongingness is getting satisfied. After that only we are moving to the esteem need. After the esteem need, it is the self-actualization need that I'll be talking about. And self-actualization is considered as one of the highest order need. Now, what is self-actualization need? Self-actualization need is a process where an individual is feeling very self-content. An individual is very self-satisfied. Rather, it can be said that when an individual is very happy with himself or herself about his or her own achievements, it is known as self-actualization stage of an individual's life. So, this 5 basic need has been given by Abraham Maslow in the year 1943. But later on, during the year 1970, Maslow came up with another set of need which is known as the cognitive need, the aesthetic need, and the transience need. Now let me explain what are these 3 need is. So before that, let me tell that just above the esteem need, which I explained in the previous slide, which is above love and belongingness need, and below self actualization need lies the cognitive need. Okay, so you will have a question, what is cognitive need? So cognitive need mainly refer to a need where Maslow tried to state that it is the thirst for knowledge and understanding which an individual is having. So we not only need the basic thing of our life for existence, but we also need people, we also need recognition, as well as we also need more knowledge and more understanding of what we are coming across in the world. So this particular need is called the cognitive need. So over here Maslow has tried to state that we human beings has an innate desire for knowledge. You know, not only knowledge, we are curious to learn new things, we want to explore new things, and so that we can make a sense of the world which is around us. So this is what is known as the cognitive need, the thirst for knowledge, the thirst for understanding, the curiosity. Along with that, to explore something new is known as the cognitive need. The next need that I'll be talking today is the aesthetic need. Now, what is aesthetic need? So, aesthetic need mainly means the need through which we try to appreciate what we are having around us. So, this aesthetic need lies just above the cognitive need and below the self-actualization need. So in aesthetic need, we try to address the need for beauty, the need for proper symmetry. So over here, what is happening is that we are trying to reflect the human desire for experiencing and appreciating the art, the beauty, the nature, the design, or anything which is around us. And when we are appreciating it, or we are expressing our gratitude towards it, is known as the aesthetic need. A very good example of it can be appreciating music. When we are hearing some good music, we try to appreciate it. So when we are seeing a beautiful scenery, we try to appreciate it. So this is known as the aesthetic need. Now the last need, which is the highest order need, that is, it lies above the self-actualization need, which is known as the transcendence need. Now, what is this transcendence need? This is the final addition that Maslaw has made, and he considered this need as one of the most important need, and this need mainly refers to a process through which an individual comes up with their full potential. That is, in the self-actualization stage, an individual is becoming self-satisfied, an individual is becoming happy from within for the various activities which he or she has done. But in the in the transcendent stage, or the transcendence need mainly means when an individual is going beyond his personal growth and achievement. Self-actualization is the stage where an individual is having personal growth and achievement. Transcendence need is an extension of self-actualization need, where the individual is going beyond his or her personal growth and achievement and is helping other, or making other people capable of carrying out some specific activities that would nurture their potentialities, or that would bring out their potentialities. So that is known as transcendence need. So in this need, normally what happens that the people are getting motivated by a sense of purpose which is greater than their own individual self fulfillment, and they often aim at doing good for the entire society, or like they try to contribute for the well-being of others for higher causes. For a very good example of transcendence need can be when an individual is engaged in certain spiritual activity which is helping others, or an individual is trying to connect others with spirituality that would help them to serve for a better purpose, or that would help those individuals to develop themselves more. So that is what is transcendence need is. So what we saw over here, that initially Maslaw came up with this 5 need, which is physiological safety, love and belongingness need, esteem need and self-actualization need, and this need was given in the year 1943. But later on, Abraham Maslow added 3 more needs in the year 1970 that include transcendence need, cognitive need and aesthetic need. Now, how these needs were arranged? Again, Maslow arranged these needs in an hierarchical order through which he wanted to state that until and unless an individual is going through the physiological safety, belongingness and love and esteem need, a person won't move to the cognitive need, then to the aesthetic need, then to the self-actualization, and lastly to the transcendence need. So over here also Maslow stated that all these needs are arranged in a sequential order. So until and unless one need is getting satisfied, an individual can never move to the other need. Now, the next thing that I'll be discussing today is that what is a deficiency need and what are growth need in Maslow's need hierarchy theory. So, we can see here that Maslow's need hierarchy theory has been divided into 2 parts. As you can see in the picture, the first 4 need, that is the physiological need, the safety need, the belonging and love need and the esteem need, comes under the deficiency need, and the cognitive need, aesthetic need, self-actualization need and the transcendence need comes under the growth need. Now, so obviously you people are having in these questions in your mind then that what is deficiency need and growth need. So deficiency need means what? It is a need where an individual is lacking something, or it can be said that deficiency needs are mainly associated with the absence of something very essential which is required for survival or for well-being. So deficiency need comprises of those need which are required for the sustenance of life, and once this deficiency needs are met, the desire to have more of it gradually diminishes. For example, after having a glass of water, or say if a person is very thirsty and after having, say, suppose 2 glasses of water, the desire of that person for having one more glass will obviously reduce or will obviously diminishes. So that is why these needs are known as deficiency needs. So the more you are getting this particular things which comes under deficiency need, the your requirement of those things will gradually reduce. The next set of need is called growth need, under which comes 4 needs, that is cognitive need, aesthetic need, self-actualization need and transcendence need. Now, what is growth need? Growth need mainly comprises of those which is required by an individual for their personal development. These are the needs which once get satisfied, the requirement for more of these things will arise. For example, suppose you have got knowledge about a particular thing. So, after that, if you find interest in it, your desire to know more about it will gradually increase. So that is can be considered as an example of growth need. Again, suppose like you have seen a very beautiful place. Suppose like you have visited a hill station, you loved it. You came back home and your desire to visit that place or similar other place will gradually increases in you. So these are the examples of growth need. So hope you have understood this theory. So if you have any more questions on this particular topic, you can comment me. So in that case, I can take a question answer session on this particular topic, and at the same time if you write to me, I will try to, my mail ID will be provided. So if you are interested in knowing in detail about this particular topic, you can also mail me or you can comment uh, comment below regarding the questions that is roaming in your mind. So thank you. Next time we will be meeting up with something more interesting. Thank you all.